Welcome to the ISRA League's Grand Touring Championship, brought to you by the Z1 SimWheel LCD display software and LCD display hardware. Head on over to z1simwheel.com. You can get either the software package alone or the full LCD external box that you can get these dashboards and telemetry displays onto your sim rig with. They also have an excellent selection of custom-made wheels. This is Season 11, Race 1!
Yay!
Championship. I'm Daniel Quaroni, and here with me are Brian Carey.
I am here.
And Anthony Muniz.
I'm also here.
Well, we're starting with our traditional 2 hours here at Spa. And in just a moment, we're going to see the qualifying times. We obviously do not have any point standings beforehand because this is the first race of the season. Now, this season, we're running Corvettes as the lead class and a combination of Ford GTs and Mclarens as the second class. Brian, take us on the road of Spa.
All right. Well, yeah, it is it used to be formed road. It's a closed circuit now, but a lot of it used to be actual passable highways. We've talked about this track a lot before. It is the probably the premier road racing track in the world right now. My favorite, anyway. My favorite on iRacing. As you can see, the 3, 4, 5 there, Radillon Eau Rouge section, is actually the first corner there. Is right where that number 2 is actually our start-finish line. We're not running the F1 track, we're running the endurance track. But with the Corvettes and with the Fords and the Mclarens, it should be an interesting race.
And speaking of Corvettes, Mike Kelly took the pole there with Daniel Buck just a 10th behind. Lauren Bateman and Dimas Maulana will be starting on the second row with Kevin Savoy and David Scott on the third with Todd Carver and a few other guys on the rest of the Corvettes.
Well, James Cullen got a 2:18 for his pole position. Corey Davis next to him on the front row. Anthony Muniz and Brian Carey following on the second. Colin McLean and Daniel Graldi on the third. Daniel Verness and Mike Young on the fourth. And Brent Browse and Daniel Quaroni on the fifth.
Yeah, we got a pretty full field here, so unfortunately we don't get to see everyone who's joined the race. Yeah, with the Corvettes and the McLaren 4 GT class, we're not going to have that LMP that seems kind of out of place there. So it's all GT cars. Technically, according to iRacing, GT's 1, 2, and 3, but the Ford runs more like a GT3 car, so it's actually slower than the overall than these McLarens that you see here. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic, especially here at Spa. Unfortunately, I don't think the Ford's going to show as well here at Spa as it will at some other tracks, but should be a interesting race. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, as an equalizer between the cars, we've got the McLarens limited at 70% of their normal maximum fuel tank, and the Fords have their full fuel tank to go with. So they've got a much more open pit strategy, and they can spend a lot less time in the pits because they'll have to fuel up less. All right, well, we rushed things. I guess I could have extended the qualifying display a little bit longer, but as always, it's a short pace lap here at Spa.
Yeah, people don't come for the qualifying, they come for the race.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. And here we go. The race is just about to begin. The pace car is in, and it looks like Mike Kelly has accelerated. He's on the inside, but Daniel Buck gets ahead of him before Eau Rouge, and that's clean.
Yeah, it's nice watching these cars fly up to here. A lot of horsepower in those Corvettes barreling up the hill. Now we got Corey Davis. Oh, he looks like he's cut the track there, so he's going to have to slow down and let some guys by because early in the race there, that's going to be a slowdown penalty. So you're going to see some guys going by on the left-hand side, and unfortunately, that's going to cost Corey a number of positions here.
Yeah, everyone's so close together. It's just really devastating to him at this portion of the race.
Yeah, you get to see the difference there. There's a Ford GT of Daniel Verness in there, and Corey Davis still slowing down. It looks like Dan Gralti's going to catch him there, and a lot of new paints we're going to see here, so we'll talk about that in a moment.
6 places. Oh, looks like it's going to be 7. Brent Browse on the outside there. No, he's not going to get by. Corey Davis is going to retain 7th.
Yeah, Corey, very quick qualifying here, and there you can see there's the number 12 of Ryan Corns, and I guess he didn't send Dan his paint. He's well, it's a little unfortunate, but that's all right. But
he was trading paints. Maybe it just didn't quite pick him up.
Anyways, so we're on board with Ryan right now, falling behind Joe Jr. Maybe not. No, what happened there? I don't think that's what happened. Is this Ryan we're on board with?
Yep. Should
Okay.
be.
Well, he ran into someone. I guess that was Joe, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit of contact there as they were heading down into turn 13. Didn't really cause any trouble to the car in front, but it sent him quite wide as we got Timothy Stoll and Todd Carver battling here in the Corvette class. You can see there's a few other cars up, and they're just about to complete their first lap. He's also got, I believe that is Dimas Maulana just behind him, putting on some pressure. And Kevin Savoy back in Savoy, yes. I remember I had that problem the last time he was racing with us. He's up racing in the Corvettes, and he is in 4th place at the moment.
Oh, Dimas Milana, huge tank slapper there coming out of low source, and I don't think John Kuzlin was able to take advantage of that. I don't think he's going to have enough room to get alongside, but good job trying to avoid him anyway. But as there's an hour and 57 minutes and 30 seconds left, no need to push the issue just yet for Kuzlin.
Chuck Chambliss looking to make a pass there on Ryan Huff. Easily gets it done as they head down the Kimmel Straight.
Yeah, really, some of these guys you'll see will have the new paint schemes, Chuck being one of them, and some of the old, but you'll see for the next race here, more updated. But now we've got Dan Gralty and looks like Corey Taylor, someone else I know, Corey Davis, by Daniel Burness there. And oh, there's a Red Bull on the track. That was Mike Young, it looks like.
Yeah, Mike Young had to dodge. I was actually right behind that. And I forgot who it was now off the top of my head. I can't remember, but yes, someone spun and I almost ran into them, and Mike Young went off the track to avoid them.
Nicely new painted Red Bull. Mike and Daniel were in the LMP last season with Red Bull sponsor cars. I like the paint scheme there in the McLaren has much improved. Now we have Jeremy Burris with his old Repsol Ford GT. That's an oldie but a goodie, but now he's trying to chase down Jason Molina, who I believe is a newcomer to the GTC this season. We have several newcomers this year, and we'll try to talk about them as much as we can as we go through. And now we have Anthony Muniz running down Colin McLean. This is a battle for second place in class right now. So Colin's starting a row or so behind, but able to get the jump on Muniz at the start there, and you can see Anthony's all over him. It's just that he really needs to be much more, you have to have much more speed than that to get by in this twisty part of the track.
And we've got a multi-manufacturer battle here in the GT3. That's Tim McLeish in the number 95. Doesn't look like he has his steam whistle car there anymore, but he was also battling with a few guys a bit lower down in the GT3 class. Back up towards the front of the GT1s, got David Scott, who is a newcomer to the GTC. He's having a good opening race so far. He's running in 6th position, but Dimas Maulana just behind. Oh, yep, he's going to lose a few positions there. Looks like most likely 3. Maulana's by, Carver's by, and there goes Kuzlin, and he's still quite slow down the Kimmel Straight.
He doesn't have to be quite that slow, I don't think, but he's being very cautious. Now he's picking up the pace, but losing 2 more spots to it.
No, just an interesting fact there. David Scott was one of the first people I'd ever come across in iRacing when I joined, probably back in Chuck Chambliss running wide. But back in 2009 when I joined, I think we had a Skippy race. Him and I think the guy's name, Mikey Grems, I believe was his name, at the Jefferson circuit in the Skippy for nose to tail for the entire race. And I thought, man, this service is pretty sweet, and that's really what got me hooked there. So a little shout out to David for that. But as we come back now to Jeremy Burris in a Ford GT, doing his best to try to chase down that McLaren of Jason Molina, but that Ford on spot does not have the legs on the McLaren down the straightaway. So Jeremy is going to have to really pull out something special to get a pass done here.
Brian, you have to find a way to monetize your memory there.
To what?
To monetize your memory.
Okay. I wish I could do that too. Really, really high rate. I assume you mean like use me as some sort of a circus freak to remember random facts about certain things.
Oh, I'm not saying any specific methodology. I'm just saying we got to figure out a way, because there's some money in there somewhere.
Hey, if you could find it, then let's tap that. Because I said tap that, but anyways, the things have gone off the rails already, and we're only got an hour and 53 minutes of this. So, anyways, Chuck Chambers. Oh, there's the Corvette unleashing its massive amount of power there, and Chuck trying to get it straight as Marty Jeffries comes down the inside.
Oh, it looks like Marty's gone wide. We're not going to see what happens there because we're going to focus on Tim Stoll up ahead, battling with Kevin Savoy, who is returning to the GTC after several seasons away.
I think when we were racing the Daytona prototype was the last time he was here, is that right?
Yes, I believe that is the case, because I don't think he ever ran the LMP, and I don't remember him in the slower classes since then, so...
And here's another guy making his return to the GTC. It's Dan Marrera in the Corvette. He's got the one of the veterans, I believe. That's John Kuzin just in front of... Oh, no, it's not John Kuzin. That is another newcomer, I think, to GTC. So quite a few new guys up here in the Corvettes. Didn't quite catch who that was, but hopefully we'll get another shot of that Corvette in the future hour and 52 minutes.
Just checking, maybe Kevin Gross, I believe, is one of the newcomers there.
Oh no!
Oh no!
David Scott, he lost in Pujon. He kept it together enough, though, but unfortunately he got past... How many cars just passed him?
Three, yeah.
One little mistake and 3 cars go by.
There is a lot of racing left in that Corvette. I mean, there's places to pass there. As we have Trey Morsdorf in the Whoop-Ass Racing. New colors there. Kind of like more basic color, not the more vibrant black, white, and rather red or yellow.
Burris did it. He got a pass off on a McLaren. Very nicely done.
That's commitment right there. So let's see if he has the speed to pull away, because if Morsdorf's able to stick with them for the next few straightaways, he'll be able to just run past him down the back straight down to the bus stop. Speaking down the back straight towards the bus stop, there's Colin McLean taking the Tim Stoll line around the outside. And Anthony Muniz trying to go around the outside. He's not really going around the outside there, folks. He's just trying to get a good run through there, take the longest run possible. But through Blanchemont there, it's only really one line in these McLarens especially, so he's just going to have to time his run through there to get an outbreak into the bus stop.
And back to the back of the pack, we've got Mike Young in the Red Bull car, Ryan Corns in the blue and yellow. Oh,
not to pick or anything, but I'm pretty sure Anthony emailed us all the paint, so...
Well, I was trusting Trading Paints to take care of it. Although I admit I didn't get the decals, and I will do that. I was fighting to make the 2 classes work and get everything into config files. Oh, should I explain how the config files work, Brian?
Sure. I'll go take a nap right now, and you can just kind of beep the computer when it's over.
Well, don't nap, because we almost had 3 wide just now.
And Lance Snyder's got his Tommy Toehold show car there, which... Does he have a picture of him on the front of the car there? But that's a pretty...
I was supposed to Google that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. I have only seen a little bit of it. My buddy showed me quite a while ago, actually. But to get back into that, I'm sure it's good. Lance has got it in the car, so we might as well pay attention to it. Otherwise, Lance will put us in a tow hold, and nobody wants that. Really. Like, seriously, no one wants that.
Meanwhile, despite going into the wall here at Lake Home, Mike Young is still in the race and trying to make his way back up through the field, so that's good to see. Corey Davis, meanwhile, looks like he's got someone on the right side of his car. Took a shallow line going to Speaker's corner. Yep, there he is. The Red Bull pulls out just in front before they get to Pujon and holds on to that top 5 position. A little bit too fast there through the first part of Pujon, though. Let's see if Davis can really get the better exit speed going down into turn 13, the campus section. But we won't see that.
We can't, because we cut away, and that means this is more interesting. Oh, it is more interesting as Corns makes the pass, and it looks like we've got Moors. Let's see, Morsdorf is in the white-ish whoop-ass. Yep.
He loses two positions there. One to Corns, one to Mike Young as he made his way through the Pujon corner. And now Corey Davis has got some good drive coming off of Stavelo on the outside of Gralty, though. And they're side by side right now. Let's see if they force it too wide.
Yep.
Ooh, takes all the runoff that they have there for the F1 cars and gets way ahead because of that.
Yeah, no, going around Blanchemont there because of these GT cars, running around the outside of a fast corner is almost always faster. So just remember that when we're watching these guys like through Eau Rouge here. Awesome cutaway. Well, it's going to an onboard shot for like 0.3 of a second. Anyways, the run through Eau Rouge there would be another place where going around the outside would be advantageous. As you can't run it flat out, so a higher speed corner, the longer radius is almost always faster. Whereas going through at a slope speed corner, the distance traveled is more paramount than the speed carried through. So like this, for instance, Lake Como. You can see Ryan Corns on the inside, Mike on the outside. So Ryan Corns can take the tighter line and maintain up ahead. He might come out a little bit slower, but he's able to stay ahead. However, Mike Youngers get the outside into Eau Rouge, he'd be able to keep his foot on the gas longer, where Ryan would have to cut the corner a little bit tighter and have to lift off. But that's not happening, so we'll just watch him go through. No, we won't. No.
Well,
Cut
still
to the top.
watching Rouge.
Well, yeah, we just onboard throw Rouge is all I'm asking, Cyborg Director.
Quick cuts, man. Quick cuts. This is the MTV generation. Actually, it's not. It's the generation that doesn't even know what MTV is anymore. But
I know. The irrelevant television station. Sadly,
making
Dan
a
and
nice
I are the
pass
MTV
there.
generation. Oh yeah, Mike Young made a pass. That's good.
looking back from on board with Tim McLeish at Joe Jr. Joe Jr. is 19th right now. Tim McLeish shown in 18th. And Joe is sticking right to the back of Tim McLeish. Joe, despite being a quick driver, unfortunately is in the Ford GT at Spa and just has that little bit of disadvantage.
Yeah, but Tim's in the Ford GT too, so...
Oh, he was? I didn't... Oh, that's
Yeah,
right,
he was.
And speaking of Tim, on board now with Tim Stoll, showing another display of the Corvette's ability to spin itself with the rear wheels.
Yeah, coming out of the bus stop. See, coming out of Lake Como here, just the way the track works, it's a little easier to kind of roll onto the power, but going out of the bus stop, it's really easy to spin out the tires coming out of that final part of the bus stop. Just the way the track kind of cambers away there, so you're going to...
And contact there.
Lake Como, I guess, or not Lake Como, La Source, and Marty just proved me wrong by spinning out the exit of La Source.
Bit of a tricky spot there. He's got the wall and
come on.
Bit of a blind spot, but he's able to get it turned around. Doesn't look like there was any other traffic coming through, so that's good. No one else ran into him.
I'm guessing he doesn't have a clutch there.
And Victor Beltran looking back. I think that's Russell Gordon behind him, who's one of the newcomers to the series. And Russell Gordon apparently... Oh, no, there's Russell Gordon right there. Look at it, right in the screen there. But anyways, Russell Gordon apparently, from what I've understood from the forums, is a... very interested in his physical fitness and his hair, if I recall correctly. Oh no, spun! That was David Scott getting hit by a gray car. Who was that?
Dan Herrera.
Yeah, his rusty Corvette from Russia, I would assume, or something like that.
I don't think Dan's from Russia. That was Evgeny. Where the heck is Evgeny been? I haven't seen him for a while.
I guess racing at like 3 a.m. has gotten a little bit too much for him. Can't blame him.
Well, there goes Marty Jeffries from the chopper shot there, getting by David Scott. And there's Joe Jr. chasing, it looks like Russell Gordon.
It's a much better run through... What's going on?
No, this is... No, it's Russell Gordon.
Tim McLeish is in the background. Oh, yep. He's going to slow down. So Tim's going to come through here.
Gotcha.
And that's Tim McLeish's paint there. That's a pure Trading Paints fail because he's had that steam whistle car forever and should be still a steam whistle car, but hey, there's me.
And Corey Davis going to make a pass going up onto the inside through the campus section. Moves him back up into, where is that now? Fourth place. Kyle McLean still just up in front.
Man, Corey Davis made that look easy.
It was almost like I let him by. Almost.
Meanwhile, Burris is going to be making a look up on the inside, going to the 13 as well on Jason Molina. Gets the pass down as long as he closes. Yep, there he is. Okay, didn't quite make the apex there, but he got the pass down. That was a good move. That moves him up into 9th position.
Well, there's Dan Marrera in the sadly offending car. And there, there's Kurt Gross. I said Kevin Gross. Kurt Gross.
Also, John Kelly making the move from LMP into Corvette this season. He's sort of in that group.
Very nicely painted, and Anthony Muniz design, classic why can't I think of the sponsor on the front of that? All
Martini.
Thank you, Martini. Oh my God. It's only one of the more iconic, liveries in racing. But of course, about 9 o'clock at night here, and I'm. What were we saying about monetizing my memory there, Dan?
Neither comes
Good
or
at some
goes.
things. We'll just have to figure out what it is you're good at and make money off of it.
Oh man.
Corey Davis now putting pressure on McLaren, heading down to Lacombe. He's going to be up on the inside. McLaren, though, very strong on the outside, as I found out a couple times. We didn't see it on camera, but yeah, he did that move a couple times to me as well, and McLaren holds on to that third place position for now. But Davis very quick. He qualified with the in second place, and he's done quite well to move himself up the field so far. So let's see how long McLaren can keep him behind. Meanwhile, we'll go on board with Lance Snyder heading down towards Lacombe. He's going to be pressuring Jerry Morsdorf on the inside when they hit the corner.
And applies the toe hold to perfection.
Yeah, that was pretty well done. Morsdorf, though, gave up pretty quickly as you saw him shoot back when he hit the brakes early.
Nobody wants Lance Snyder to give them the toe hold. Nobody. That'll be one of our ISRA GTC storylines of the day. It's like, who wants to let Lance Snyder give him a toe hold? Nobody. As I know, we've got some guys. There's Jeremy Perez. It looks like Jason's got back past Jeremy. So let's see if he can make that same pass again. Here's where it happened. And they've got Mike Young behind him trying to make a pass.
What's funny is that McLaren makes the Ford GT look tiny.
Makes it look tiny because it's just so low to the ground, and it also makes the front of the Ford GT just look ugly.
Yeah,
the Ford
that
GT's
too.
not a bad looking car, but man, it's
It
just
is
like the
compared to the
McLaren's
McLaren.
ugly cousin.
And Mike Young getting a great run off of Savalo, and he's going to be alongside, and I think pass with the top speed advantage that the McLaren has, and that should be him taking the position. Yep, that is, and we'll jump away to the two war drivers heading down towards Blanchimont.
Anthony just says war because whoop-ass racing doesn't really...
It sounds kind of lame.
No, it rolls off the tongue fine. It is kind of lame, but then you got the Tommy Toehold car up ahead of them, so what are you going to do?
Ooh, Davis, very...
Wow.
A lot of oversteer going through the
Cost him a
top
lot of
of
speed.
Radion there. You can see him dropping a little bit to McLean heading down the Kimmel Straight, but the draft working to
yep.
pull him back.
Yeah, who cares about losing top speed when it looked that awesome, though? That's like, I figure like 230, 240 kilometers an hour. Because you guys both know kilometers an hour over miles.
Might be a little bit slower than that, but yeah, it's pretty quick there at the top of a route, especially if you take the corner correctly.
Oh, Mike Young going around the outside of Jason Molina. I forget what Jason's story is. I don't know if he's... actually, I'll go take a look at the bios here, so I'm going to leave the... I'll hear it, but I'll leave the visual action for just a second while I look that up.
Oh, and that point out that pink Corvette there is someone we hadn't seen for a while. Clark Reed, I believe, making a comeback to the GTC after a season or two off. And back to a pretty close fight here towards the top of GT1, focusing on John Kuzlin's 27 Corvette. He's fighting with Dimas Maulana and Ty Carver. Those guys looking to fight over 5th position, as Jeremy Burris is still stuck right on the back of Molina's McLaren. Looks like Mike Young was able to get a bit of a gap between himself and Molina after he made by... Oh, and that's a bunch of oversteer. And that is a Corvette into the wall. Who is that?
That's Kevin Savoy.
Oh, that's some heavy damage there on the rear. You can see the wings all bent up. Can't quite tell if he broke any suspension, but...
He broke some. That's how they do it in Bathurst, folks. That's where very, very a lot of snow you'll get there in the winter in Bathurst. So a lot of aggressive driving there, too, I would imagine. What with their long winters and heavy snowfall. That's a train, folks. That's Colin McLean, Corey Davis, I believe myself there, and Dan Gralty, all nose to tail.
And Davis is going to be pretty close coming out of Eau Rouge and down the Kimmel Straight. You can see he's right in the back. He will, look to the inside. Let's see if he can make the move stick this time. Last time, McLean was very good at defending on the outside. But it looks like Davis has got the position this time, and he does. Yep, there it is. The pass completed. That moves him up into third place now. And our own Daniel Quilroni making a pass there. Daniel Verness. Yep, and he completes it there, going into Lake Combe. And that moves him up into 7th position. So Verness is the top Ford GT at the moment.
Bit of Daniel
8th.
cannibalism right there.
Story of my life, let me tell you.
Cannibalism?
Well, just there being tons of Daniels around. That's why people call me Q.
Okay.
Does that mean you work for MI6? Are you like M, but Q?
He kind of is.
That's pretty cool.
You know Q is an actual character, right?
Yeah, that's why I was making the reference.
But you said like M.
Yeah.
He's not like M, he's like Q.
Yeah, well, okay, that came out a little bit wrong, but...
Especially like the new one, not the, that old guy who I don't remember his name, or John Cleese, the one that they got from the Skyfall movie. Looks like a younger version of Dan, I would assume. That was Todd Carver, folks. For those of you who didn't follow us last season 10, which is also known as Season TC for Todd Carver. That was a brief shot. We just want to, make sure that we don't lose our carryover audience from our Todd Carver fans from last year. So, but we're moving on to Jeremy Burris, still chasing down Jason Molina. And now Mike Kelly and Daniel Buck.
Yeah, Mike Kelly currently leading the race. Daniel Buck challenging him there in second. Todd Carver not showing as well as he has in the past. He's down in 5th at the moment. About 12 seconds behind this action.
And back to David Scott there.
And he's way back in 18th. I bet there's a really good reason we're watching on board with him, though, as Clark Reed looks like he has some trouble at the bus stop.
He's pointed mostly the right way.
See, the director knows what he's doing. Sometimes he just likes to start the story a little early.
He knows what he's doing. We don't know what he's doing, but he knows what he's doing.
Scott, easily on the inside, is going to make this pass as Clark runs wide, and I wasn't watching if he was in 18th place before, right? Yeah, now he's in 17th. He's done that.
Actually, another bit of trivia regarding David Scott. A lot of... because I think he runs Daytona Prototypes a lot in the public servers there. So when we ran Daytona Prototypes for a couple seasons, his setups feature pretty prominently because he's on the same team as Coast to Coast Racing, I believe, with John Kuzland and Lauren Bateman.
Speaking of which...
Wow. Magic. Lauren Bateman, there he is.
And he's actually going to be taking 2nd place away from Daniel Buck. He must have had a slowdown as he got to the top of Eau Rouge, and that moves Lauren Bateman up into 2nd position, 3 seconds back from Mike Kelly.
And you saw the Highway Patrol livery on that car there, which I believe Lauren Bateman might have been a part of. I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but I have seen pictures, and he looks roughly like Eric Estrada, minus the hair, the Hispanic heritage, other things, I guess.
Oh, and Kerry, wow, nearly running into the back of McLean there going into the bus stop. And he's got, I believe that's Daniel Gralty there on the outside as they power their way down over the F1 timing line down towards the Source. And let's see what happens once they get there. Oh, it looks like Kerry better getting the power down coming out of the bus stop, and he'll hold on to that 5th position, excuse me.
Almost forgot about that one there. It's amazing what you'll forget during a 2-hour race, especially when the memory is traumatic like that. So look at Joe Jr. get a huge run on Russell Gordon, but Russell Gordon just riding that pony a little bit faster than the Ford GT can go. And Ooh, racing. Daniel Buck has dropped back a little bit there. He's now battling Warren Bateman for second. He was right on Mike Kelly's tail before. Again, taking the Tim Stoll line around the outside.
No respect, I tell you. And here again, we're going to see that Joe Jr. just can't match the speed of the McLaren. Oh, wow, he really can't. Where the heck did that McLaren go?
He's already finished the race at this point. Oh, he can't match the speed, except there he goes.
No. Wasn't there a McLaren ahead of him, I thought?
Yeah, no, it was Russell Gordon, and he passed him.
He slowed way down.
Okay, so he
slowed way down. I guess he just was getting well out of the way of the GT1 leader coming through.
Yep, that was David Scott going past Marty Jeffries, who's just coming out of the pits for either scheduled or unscheduled pit stop, but that moves David Scott up a certain number of positions. You can see that Jason has arms from the brief inboard shot.
Oh, wow, he also has the ability to just tell people to slow down. Man.
That Jeremy Mercy will go by.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew Jeremy was all over him. He just didn't want to hold him up anymore.
Hold him up? Oh, man, I love to hold him up. You're going to see that next race. I hope.
But that's not code for anything, is it?
No, really. I was slowing a bunch of people down. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, actually, I saw that in the
it wasn't
forums.
fun that I was slowing people down, but it was close racing. It was good.
Yeah, except apparently that some of the people who slowed down maybe could have helped, say, a teammate, finish a little bit better, which didn't work out too well, but...
I can't imagine who you're talking about. We'll see you next race, though. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No spoilers, folks. This is all happening live. We're simultaneously in the race and recording it because it's happening right now. Don't ruin the illusion. Actually, speaking of...
Dan is so talented, he can commentate two things at once during the race.
That's right. Since you've got my onboard with commentary at the same time.
And actually, just so you guys know here, who's listening to this right now, right about the 1:30 mark here, I'm just going to turn on. I know I did a pre and post race of this race on the forums there, but at 1:30 I'll turn on the camera and do a brief explanation of what we're doing there. So, just for you listening to this right now, you'll get to see what it looks like from my point of view in the commentary booth. It's pretty high tech right here, and I'll explain what that means as these guys can talk about me driving awesome.
Hey, that's a pretty cool idea there, Brian. I hadn't thought of that. I need to also record the making of at some point. But, all right, we're on board with Brian Carey going through Pujon behind Colin McLean. Brian's currently running 5th, and we're going to jump right on over to Ryan Huff and John Rossettos. And they're heading down, about to enter Eau Rouge. They've got, what have they got between them? 0.3 seconds there. About a car length at whatever 140, 50 miles an hour that they're running right now.
Now over to David Scott and Marty Jeffries. As he makes his David Scott tries to make his way back through the field after some early incidents. Oh, and there's a McLaren off there at Pujon. Can't see what happened. I think it was one of the war cars of possibly Jerry Mooresdorf. It looked a little red to me.
I saw a white flash and that was it.
White flash and an explosion. I think he was the only car involved, so luckily he didn't take out any other racing cars.
Wow, that was nicely done.
Rosetta's going to try and hold on. There's a Ford GT there as they go 3 wide momentarily through Pujon. They all get by safe, and Ryan Huff takes the position away. Meanwhile, Brian Carey pressuring Colin McLean heading through La Source. Going to be on the inside. They're going to have to go side. Looks like they might be going side by side as they enter Eau Rouge. No driver wants to give, and they do go side by side. Brian has to yield eventually to Colin McLean, and McLean holds onto that third place position rather. And Carey very slow as he had to fight to keep his car pointed straight, making his way through that tough Eau Rouge section. Loses another position there to Daniel Braulty.
Oh, did I screw something up while I was going?
Daniel Braulty.
By the way, boys, that's going to be television gold right there. What just happened? So,
oh, really?
I don't know. I'm going to try to upload it right now, actually, if I can.
Excellent. Apparently, Muniz with some disdain towards our league admin.
More like a lapse in memory.
Oh, who's that guy? I don't know. Dan.
He's someone. He
Honestly,
only
the
runs the
Daniels,
whole
I
thing.
can't blame you for getting mixed up because they were on board with Daniel Buck.
There's like 4 or 5 of them here. It's just kind of hard to keep them all straight.
You got all the Daniels, then you have Mike Kelly, then you have John Kelly, then you have John Kuzland and John Rosettos. Then there's Mike Young and Mike Taylor, who's not in this race right now, and then you've got, I don't know, there's other people here.
Proving that some of us have the most boring parents in the world.
Yeah, I named my son Declan. That's, don't hear that too often, at least outside of Europe anyways. Oop, there's a car off. It looked like someone we knew.
Oh yeah, that was the that must have been who went off there going through Pujon. I believe that must have been Brent Briles because we did see Jerry Morsor still running on track. So he looks to be crawling his way back to the pit lane with quite a bit of suspension damage.
Slowly taking me this whole time since I said I was going to upload it to actually plug this damn thing in, but hopefully before the end of this race you'll actually get some sweet bonus footage.
Joe Jr. finding the outside of Pujon, and I don't know, spending some time exploring. He's got to have damage. He's going way slow.
I'm going to have to teach you guys to speak in a French accent, because he's, luckily we only have one French track right now, but man, Pujon.
Pujon? Pujon?
O-H.
Pujon.
Pujon. The H is silent. French people do not acknowledge the existence of an H.
Daniel Buck, ignoring the existence of the bus stop.
That's what I call a segue.
That was nice. That segue of the race brought to you by the Z1 Simwheel LCD display. So if you want to visit that, z1simwheel.com to get all your random segue information as well as a fabulous sim racing product. z1simwheel.com.
And the train of Mclarens there fighting for fourth position have closed back up again. Brian Carey closing the distance to Daniel Gralty. Remembered his name this time.
Morse gets all weird and old.
On board with Warren Bateman. We're probably on board because someone's right next to him. He's going wide. And there it was. It was a Corvette. No, wait. He's lost the spot. There's someone else there. There's Daniel Buck. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Daniel Buck was that Corvette. Warren Bateman's in the Corvette. That makes sense. I couldn't tell, of course, because we were looking from the front of this car. And I forgot.
This is a point where I'm hoping we dominate the coverage here because I won't give away too many details here. I'll comment more about after the race, but just remember this right here, folks, because I sure as hell did when I was racing it. So.
And Gralty going to take a little peek going to the inside just to help spot his braking point. Looked like he overshoots his brakes just a little bit too much, and Brian Carey would pull right up onto the back of his McLaren, but they all get about off the bus stop about the same speed, it looks like. But a lot of opportunity to at least pressure someone into making a mistake going into the bus stop. Maybe not actual passing opportunity to do, but Brian Carey laid on the brakes and nearly runs into the back of Gralty there as they make their way through the source.
I was having a lot of trouble slowing it down for the source of all places. I mean, because you get, man, I really lost time. But basically going into a lot of the corners there, I can go behind in their car and see where they're braking. And Lake Home, big braking area, the bus stop, big braking area. It didn't seem to be no problem for the most part, but for some reason at La Source there, it just was not working, and I was just braking, well, I mean, almost ran into the back there, but just keep an eye on that for the rest of the race.
And Victor Beltran running wide, going through the bus stop, and then making a dive for the pit lane. And he can still be going quickly because the limit doesn't start till now. Luckily, he didn't have anyone. Luckily he didn't have anyone behind that was also looking to get into the pit lane as fast as possible. Because I know that before the race, I made quite a few practice attempts getting up into about second gear again before I hit the brakes and turned the limiter on to slow down to 60 Ks.
All right.
Kurt Gross is the that Corvette that I've been trying to identify throughout the race. He looks like he's got a Walt Disneyland or World, I'm not sure, one of the two.
Mickey was a magical hat.
Yep, so it's Land or World, I don't know which one, but...
I mean, just the wonderful world of Disney.
Oh, is that what it was? I guess that could
Sure.
be.
I don't remember. It's been a while since seen that particular logo, but now on board with Dan Gralty there, chasing down Colin McLean with an extremely dirty windshield, because Colin drives half the lap off the track. I think he was averaging about 3 incidents per lap, which is, each incident is every time he drives off the track, so, it's a big lap, but that's still pretty haphazard on Colin's part there. But whatever works for your speed for the whole race. He won't be receiving one of these LCD displays at the end of the season, that's probably for sure.
It actually doesn't make you any faster to run off the track. I know I've tried a couple times to see if it actually makes a difference, like running wide coming off of Stablo, for instance, doesn't make any faster. Ooh,
it's more of a safety thing, I think.
No, well, yeah, I guess it could be. It's just if you don't want to try and... I guess it's just kind of depends on your driving style, I suppose. There's a really nice helicopter shot as this train of McLarens made their way through Lake Holmes and Malmedy, now going through, what is this, Brussels, I think. On board with Brian Carey.
And a great shot of Jason Molina in the pits. And
need to hurry up and get in the cones and not get a penalty. There we go.
Despite the fact that I tried to make it less interesting if someone was in the pits, I guess it still was interesting enough. Alright, there we go.
Alright, hopefully my commentary quality doesn't take a hit, but the video is now uploading, so I know by the time you're watching this you'll be able to see it no problem, but this is more for my commentary colleagues, I guess.
Well, Brian, how will they be able to see it?
Well, you can visit my YouTube channel, which is... Jesus, I don't even know what my YouTube channel is.
You can visit our
Racing
team.
Dan.
Oh, yeah, I guess you could do that. Just Dan would have Dan link it.
Yep, so through Sim Racing Dan on YouTube. I believe mine's just Brian Carey. I'm not actually sure what my... How do I find out what my channel's name is?
I'll tell you. Hold on. You sound old.
I am old. Not as old as Dan, though. Just remember that. Dan's got, like 4 months on me or something like that. When's your birthday?
April.
YouTube.com/Brian2799. That's YouTube.com/Brian2799.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, you can follow it there. I'll link it to the forums for you guys too, most of you guys will be on the forums watching this. And also, if you're watching this video right now, you like what you see, and you don't know the forums, what is this crazy man talking about? Well, what you can do is go to www.israleague.com, ISRA League, all one word, .com, and sign up in the forums there, introduce yourself, watch Daniel Buck randomly pseudo-enter the pits with wheel spin there, I imagine. What you can do is join the forums, introduce yourself, join us for a practice for one of these, which we run on Sunday nights. If you practice there, sign up for the Fill the Grid, and you can join this ISRA League action as Daniel Buck slows down because of various corner cuttings. I'm sure there's 3 or 4 in that little instance there. But hopefully a lot of the guys have come across this through the YouTube channel, because it's nice to see that some guys here that have come across. Our teammate on the Kaiser Rennsport, Corey Davis, is one of those who all this through. And it looks like Dan Gralte's jumped into the pits because he's no longer in this shot.
Yep, we're just down to McLaren and Carey now. As yeah, where did he drop down to? Yeah, he's fallen all the way down to 12th position. Yeah, there he is. Just now exiting the pits. So
very long pit lane here, like ridiculously long. Like you seriously could, you know, if you could put your car on autopilot, you go upstairs, grab yourself a drink, go to the washroom, you know, maybe take a quick nap, come back, and your car's still probably getting service. So that may be an exaggeration, but not by much. And the reason being, for those wondering, is because this is the endurance track, you basically enter as you can come through here. This is a bus stop. So just off to the right here, you'll see the pit lane entrance. I don't think we're pitting right now. Well, you won't see it because we're cutting away. But anyways, pit lane entrance is there. And then you fall all the way down. And instead of exiting where the Grand Prix track would exit, you then enter where the endurance pits are, which is down the Rondeau Rouge. So it's just like a double pit lane and a very long...
Yep. Although I think we could get away with running just the Grand Prix pits, I believe. I think we were under the limit for it.
Yeah, just so you know, that's another reason too why we always run Spa. Spa is always the first race of 2-hour enduro, is because Spa has 60 pit stalls. So what we can do is, the fill a good drivers, make sure everyone gets in, have the maximum grid possible. Then we race at some other tracks. Sometimes they're limited to 40 or 45 pit stalls. 45 is a sign up for ISRA. So typically as the season goes on, you get a little bit of drop off, guys not making every race. But normally, not always the case, but normally you get a pretty big turnout for Spa here, so you want to make sure it has the maximum amount of pit stalls for the first race.
I'd love to see this race here with 60 competitors all on the track at once. That would be great. I think we have 40 right now, so imagine 20 more guys out there racing for positions. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think we've had that before. I think I've been a part of that before. We've had like almost a 60 full racers. All we used to is the 55 plus, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. Spa is a big enough track that you get away with that, and it's
yep,
just a good time. I mean, you're always racing someone, stuff's always happening, and
yeah. And if you'd like to see the race that this is sort of modeled after in the real world, the 24 Hours of Spa, I think is coming up at the end of July, so a few weeks here. They are looking at, it's a GT3 race, also McLarens, the BMW Z4s, the Ferrari 458s, Mercedes SLS, all those types of cars, they're all going to be racing here, and they're looking at 80 competitors in that race.
Man, I don't want to be too graphic, but I'd give my right nad up to go to that race.
Yeah, that'd be something. Oh, well, there's a... that's a shot.
Oh, look at that. Now, that is a good shot of the Bieber right there. That is... We were talking about that the last race of Season 10, but I think that was the first time we actually got the full-on experience of...
Yeah, that was a close-up.
Yeah. I don't know what that says about James and his... call them preferences, but anyways, so it looks like all the McLarens, that's a race lead. By the way, he's leading, you know, McLaren, James Cullen. Just want to point that out there, but it looks like all the McLarens are making their pit stops who've run on a full tank, so I think this is a limit of the fuel here. It's very long laps, so you're not going to get a lot of variation on pit stops here.
Yeah, it was top 6 cars all entered the pit lanes there, so pretty much the all running the same strategy, it seems.
Man, it looks like a tire barfed on John's windshield there. That is pretty gross. There's a lot of debris on that windshield there. That'll get cleared up once they hit the pit stop. Oh, there's Anthony Muse in the pits. There's Kaiser Rennsport teammate. Well, that's awkward. Corey Davis there behind James Cullen. And now we have Colin McLean and myself coming into the pits. Huge traffic jam. Mike Kelly coming out of the pits, I believe. Into the pits.
Going into the pits. Let's see, Brent Bryles exiting the pits. Looked like he was finished repairing his car a bit. Looks like there's still a fairly significant amount there, but hopefully he can run some laps without too much of an issue there.
And actually, I just noticed something on our little information screen here. We have a countdown race timer in the top right of our information screen, which shows we're about 2.5 seconds out of sync with our timing and scoring. So,
Really?
Clark is stuck.
It's exactly right for me. That's interesting.
Well, it probably likes you better.
Well, it may be some lag thing. That's interesting. Very interesting. And good to know.
Considering that, I know we say we're in the same commentary booth, which hopefully none of you actually believe, but I'm sitting in my basement here in London, Ontario, Canada. I believe Anthony is somewhere in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Dan is in someplace Massachusetts, somewhere near Boston, whatever town you live in.
Yeah, sorry, I was actually just going to buy tickets to the 24 Hours of Spa. Well, at least to look to see how much they are. They're only 58 euros.
Yeah, and somehow I don't think that's the limiting cost that you'd have to incur coming from over here.
I wonder how I could find out how much a flight to Belgium would be.
Oh, I don't know. If only there was a website that would help me find that sort of thing out.
And if that website were to somehow index various sites and somehow calculate the best price for the dates you're looking to travel, where might you find that, Dan?
I'd look, perhaps the last place you'd expect to look, at kayak.com. It's not about boats.
Kayak.com. We don't do boats. Anyways, we're going to watch John Kuzlin take the long road down the pit lane here. Not for too long.
And Chuck Chambliss trading in his Golf livery for a Corvette factory sponsorship this season.
And there's another Martini car. That is Matthew Voigt with the black Martini. John's got the traditional gray, I guess, but both John and Matthew ran the LMP last year with similar liveries, but this one's pretty solid as well. Is that your doing as well, Anthony?
What?
The livery on that car? I know you did John's.
Not Matthew's LMP, no. I did both of their Corvettes.
No, the Corvettes,
yes.
yeah, the one we're seeing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was basically when John asked me to do him a Corvette for this season, it was, we thought about doing a silver one or a black one for him, and I showed him both, and he liked both of them. And so I said, well, maybe you can find someone else to run the black version since it also looks very good.
Hey, look at that. Magic. We made John Kelly magically appear on screen. Look at that car, Martini Racing. That's pretty solid. But it looks like Mike Kelly's coming up to... no, not Lapham. Mike Kelly's pitted, John Kelly has not. So this is for position, but yeah, well, it didn't last long. I was going to say they're going to battle for a little bit here, but apparently not.
Chambliss is battling with John Rossetto's here. This is for second place. Not sure what their the pit strategy and all that is at the moment, but I think both of these guys have yet to pit. Meanwhile, Ryan Huff is leading the race overall. He still has yet to pit, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But he is going to get, I believe, an extra bonus point for leading the lap.
Yeah, Ryan Huff, a race winner last year in the LMP.
Yeah,
the
that's
only
right.
other race winner besides Wyatt Foster. And in the only race that I missed last year.
Bitter Brian.
Yep.
Oh.
Bitter sports fan Brian. There he is on track.
And look at that. The little bit earlier pit stop moved Daniel Gralty in front of that train of three McLarens. So he is holding onto that fourth position, or it should be fourth once pit stop cycle through. And meanwhile, Chambliss still pressuring Rossetto's for that second position as they put a lap on Jerry Mooresdorf.
And just a note, the Ford GTs of Daniel Verness and Jeremy Burris are leading the GT, the lower class right now. They have yet to make a pit stop because there's better fuel economy.
Yeah.
But still, good to see how that's kind of working out there. So, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a battle for the rest of the year.
Yep, just like the way that real GT3 series works, the cars each have their advantages and disadvantages. I think the Ford GT is a little bit more disadvantaged than the McLaren overall. We can't really homologate these cars like they do in real life because, well, we don't really have access to that sort of data that's stuff iRacing all does in the back end. But the cars are pretty close together, and I think once we get to the shorter tracks, they should be much more. The Fords should be much more competitive.
When you said homologate and back end in pretty much the same sentence, I'll be honest, I giggled a little bit.
Oh, what are you, 12?
Oh, if only. If only.
Although I do find that kind of funny because I did just call you old about 10 minutes ago.
I know, it goes both ways. It's fun to be me. And there's the guys going by Daniel Verness in a previous version of the...
Oh no!
What's up? What happened? Oh,
no, it's John
some guy.
Rossetto's. John Rossetto's.
Rossetto's off. So it's hard to keep track. There's so many cars in each class now, it's hard to keep track. And John Rossetto's running the... He'll be running, I think, number 8 in the future races, but I think the software still has a problem looking at the 01 there. But...
Unfortunately, yes, I think so.
But at least we got to see him a little bit there. Sadly, he was going backward at the time, but we'll get a better view of John going forward in the future races. Assuming he's involved in close battles and cool driving. Speaking of cool driving, there's Todd Carver. Get a good look, folks. Good look.
Carver currently shown in 7th.
Looks like he's going to pass a
stiff
couple
competition
guys
this year.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think
pit
he's going to
stops.
pass a couple guys with the pit stops. We might move him up to 5th place or 4th place. But yeah, these all classes are quite competitive this season. I mean, they were competitive last season, but that competition is still there.
A little bit of place switching here as order has changed slightly before from pre-pit stop to post-pit stop.
Yep, Gralty managed to get in front of McLean and Carey, but you can see that they have managed to close the gap to him just a little bit as their stint has worn on. As I guess Gralty uses his tires up a little bit more. This track we don't really see the tires wear too badly. There's a couple other ones.
Yeah, a lot of long straightaways here to get them to cool down. But yeah.
Tire wear is not too big of an issue here, but as we get to some of the tighter circuits in the calendar, that will be an issue. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Right now, though, that's looking like a good three-way battle as Verness comes back out. Oh, and there's Daniel Quaroni, so I think that is pretty much status quo where he when he entered the pits. So that moves him down into 9th. And Quaroni is in front of him in 8th. So looks like Burris has yet to pit. That would be why. Okay. And here is Burris right now, speaking of which.
With James Cullen all over him. Jeremy Burris is going to have Bieber fever by the end of this.
The screaming Bieber up front there.
Ew. That paint scheme is borderline inappropriate. I think all the cameras mercifully at Road America were so far back we couldn't really get a chance to tell, but sadly at Spa, they're right in there. Right in there.
Well, you'll be happy to know that James has since changed his scheme.
Yeah, the Turn 1 Heroes team that James is a part of is kind of... Oh no, Victor! Hold on! Oh man, that was a
very good save there by Beltran. He had a great run coming through Eau Rouge. I think he had to either get off the power just a bit to not run into the back of Snyder. I'm not sure if Snyder was slow or what, but nearly lost, and that was a great save there by Beltran. Oh, and Carey there. A little bit of a traffic jam, and he had to run a little extra wide there to not run into the back of McLean. You can see as Timothy Stoll was coming through to put a lap on the GT3 cars.
You guys have me very tempted to go to this race.
If you can, man, do it.
It would be fun.
Seriously, that's like my one, life's wish sort of thing is... Well, I mean, I'd love to go to the GT race. I'd love to go to the F1 race here at Spa and have a ticket somewhere near Eau Rouge just to watch those cars fly through there. And also just to be around Belgium, too, because, I mean, you have the whole weekend, you get to watch some racing, and the amount of beers that you can get in Belgium is ridiculous.
I don't know. I haven't heard of any relationship between Belgium and beer.
Never?
No.
Not sure what to read from that, but as we watch, it looks like Daniel Buck was able to get past Ryan up there, going through a Rouge. Moderately exciting. We'll talk about that. Beer obviously more important, but no, I just know there's a bunch of the pubs there in Belgium that will have, depending on where you are, upwards of like 50 to 100 different beers on tap, and each with their own different glasses. I think Belgium has like 400 in very, very small country, but like 400 plus registered beers. That plus spa makes Brian very happy.
And back to these guys still fighting for fourth place. Yep, fourth. It is truly fourth place now. All of the pit stops have cycled through. So Gralty running up there in fourth place. McLean taking his usual. I don't know what kind of line we want to call that, but very, very wide there.
It's a McLean line now.
McLean line? Okay, yeah, he's claimed that name.
Yeah, and just anyone here, like say if you're in, Belgium, if I was able to visit Belgium, for instance, or Dan as well, but mostly me because I want to do it. If, say, someone had a McLaren MP412C, GT3 car or whatever, and they were watching this video and saw this expert driving, you can see right here, beautiful lines, good braking, that sort of thing, then for sure, then let me drive the car around Spa, please. Someone must be out there watching this.
Or maybe you should pick me because I'm running in front of Brian right now.
Both of us. Everyone here. Me, Dan, and Anthony. Man, maybe Colin and what's his name up in front of Colin there.
Well, they do have 4 drivers per car for some of the entries there, so that would be a pretty solid team, I think.
Absolutely. Well, we could split it up into 2 teams or something like that. Anyways, point is, McLaren teams call me, call Dan, call Anthony, call someone, because we'd be awesome at it.
Now, right now, the Hotel de la Source is booked for the 25th, 26th, and 27th. No surprise there.
Got a hotel like right at La Source there?
Nah, I think it's just named that. It claims it's 0.4 miles from the track.
Oh yeah, which that's probably walking distance from the edge of the track there, so that
Yes.
probably is just outside of the fence there. But actually, a lot of the corners here, I don't know, something I've talked about recently is David Scott's coming around Kurt Gross. This is a battle for 12th position. Yes, no, 11th position. That was 11th position you just took there. But anyways, a lot of the corners here, while not there, they're named after towns in the general vicinity. So for instance, Malmedy, which we're coming up to right now, is towards the town of Malmedy. Stavelo at the far end of the track. Oh, David just takes the position and gives it right back. All right, well, you can have fun going back past around if you can catch them, but that's cool. This is what we call Speaker's Corner, I guess, because it's on the inside of the track. Pouan as well, I don't believe is near any town, but, Losaurus, Malmedy, Stavelo, trying to think of what else is named after towns, but those are the 2 that come to mind.
Yep, Speaker's Corner, which is corner, what would that be? 10 on this
It's not an
configuration.
official name, it's just kind of what we call it.
Yeah, true. It's actually unnamed, but it's been kind of dubbed Speaker's Corner because in the real commentary booth here at Spa, besides the timing line, that is the only corner that you can see on the track from the commentary box. So hence the name Speaker's Corner.
So you can see the commentary booth. It's up ahead. So there's a building just up ahead there. About 3 miles straight ahead. Actually, that'd be another good place to watch. You'd be having one of the stands up by their Pouan there, especially in the Formula One car. Because that's when we got some racing happening, folks. Maybe. But yeah, when I was in real life, when I went to the U.S. Grand Prix at Indianapolis for the first time, I'd been to a few IndyCar races, kart races, or whatever before that. But the thing that really gets you is one, cornering speed of the cars, but also the braking power of a Formula One car really got to me. And I would imagine it'd be the same sort of feeling watching those cars go through Pouan or Eau Rouge live, just to see the amount of just speed and grip that those things have. And GT cars would just be awesome to watch. anywhere but Spa. Alright, let's see if we can find a way to make it happen. I don't know, maybe Dan, if we mentioned to say kayak.com being a travel site, for instance, that you happen to work for, perhaps they could sponsor the three of us to promote kayak.com by traveling to Spa. I mean, I'll wear all orange. I will sell myself just to the highest bidder, basically, just to make this happen. So hopefully that's kayak.com and not some other sort of transaction, if you will.
Yep, and we will gladly replace every logo on all of the Kaiser cars with whoever wants to send us to Spa. So there's a bit of advertising opportunity, I suppose.
And Dan, if you want to, when you're editing this video here, if you just want to right now at the 57:45 mark, splash a huge Kaiser kayak logo on the screen right now, then that might help us too.
I'll see what I can do. I think it might be smart to plan for next year, because I think all the hotels are really booked. That's the biggest problem right now.
Hey, if the only issue is maybe we can't do it this year or next year, I'm cool with that. I'll be honest. I'm perfectly
that
fine
sounds
with
okay.
it. I can plan ahead. I'll take some vacation time. It's all good.
Look at Buck sliding it through a source, looking back from his Corvette.
Actually, we need to find a clip to the Celebrity Jeopardy SNL clip where his celebrity name, Daniel Buck's celebrity name.
And
Scott.
David Scott having more trouble. Trouble? That's the real word. Trouble.
It's a strangely southern accent you just picked up there for the guy who lives in Michigan with Spanish and German heritage. Went straight Alabama on that one.
It's about you would think that would be about the farthest away I could actually talk, and somehow I picked that up. I haven't watched any sort of southern television show or anything, and not that I watch a whole lot of TV, but
actually, you know, it's funny, I was watching on the weekend. I had some friends over, and for whatever reason, I knew the rest of the guys from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, but Ron White is one I never hear of, but he was by far the funniest one. I don't know why we were watching that, but let's just say we had some liquid encouragement when we were doing that, but pretty damn funny stuff. I think he's from Texas, though, but close enough. They all look alike down there. Actually, you know why Tim doesn't have steamboats on the car? Because they have been banned from my commentary. What we should be looking for is a delicious Muskoka Cream Ale from Muskoka Breweries. Right here.
I was waiting for when that would show up.
Delicious.
And the Mother Russia car here is looking to chase down David Scott for 12th position.
Where is Dan from anyway? Because you keep saying Russia, because that's the Russian car, but
yeah,
he's from
I think he's from
like Costa Rica or something?
Yes, I think that is where he's actually from. I think Evgeny Gararinin was the first one to run that rusted car, so the Mother Russia rusted. Yeah, that's why I have that name in my head.
Evgeny, if you're watching this for whatever reason, set your alarm, man, and get back to some racing here, because I know you're still active in the forums to some extent, but
David Scott taking another stab at the bus stop. Looks like he's going to succeed this time, but he's under pressure.
I'd be scared too if that car was going about me, because he doesn't care about what condition that car finishes the race in. You can just tell by the paint.
Yeah. Yep, that's a true Russian car. And nothing against Russians, but I've seen those compilation crashing videos of what happens over in there in Russia. So
well, it's just because everyone in Russia, apparently it's because police there are massively corrupt, but they all have dashboard cams, which lets you get interesting things like, say, live plane crashes and or meteors coming crashing right into your face Oh, there goes David Scott. I think David's actually got some damage here. I think during one of the earlier incidents, his car is performing just right, which has accounted for those subsequent spins and relatively slow pace. We'll expect to see David running a little bit further up front than where he is right now, which is 13th, which is nowhere near where he should be.
So in automotive excitement news, I'm doing some fun stuff to my Miata, and I got a data logger, so I'm very excited to plug it in tomorrow and see what it has to say.
Will it tell you to get a faster car?
I'm making it faster, man.
See, I don't want to make fun of the Miata too much because I also drive a Mazda, a high-performance Mazda known as the Mazda 5, which is a...
Here, I thought you were going to say a Mazda Speed 3. What do you mean? A high-performance Mazda.
I was kind of saying that ironically as we're going past it. Look at the kayak on that car there, folks. Did you see that kayak? You guys watch that? We just passed Dan in the car there. So
we're gonna see it again.
Look at that. Watch kayak. Look at the kayak.
There it is. Oh.
Right in the middle of the screen. Kayak, orange kayak. We saw it. Totally saw it. And wow, Marty Jeffries.
You might get a chance to see it again.
Jesus.
Jeffrey's really missing the braking there. Yep.
There it is.
Yep. Yay, kayak. Look at you can see it. If you look really closely there, if you want to pause the screen and take a look, that's anyways.
Where has Gralty gone? Oh, he's just really separated himself from these two guys.
About 4 seconds.
Well, that's quite a bit, considering.
It's not like he's driving a rocket car.
Well, considering how close you guys were earlier, that's quite a bit.
I don't know. I blame Colin. Also, too, though, Dan also is at this point because he pitted way earlier, so he's probably running a lot lower fuel. The way these cars, the Mclarens, I find the first lap on tires is pretty quick. Once they heat up, you kind of flatten out your times a little bit and get pretty consistent from like 5 to whatever laps in. And then once you get down to lower fuel, the speed comes back just a little bit. So it's not our time at the moment.
And Brian has a very beautiful line there going through the campus section.
La Fania.
It's also known as camp now because they actually have a campus, school education campus of some sort there.
Racing, I think racing school. Racing? Nice.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Kayak, if you want to send us on a iRacing, not iRacing, a real racing, the racing school there, we'll plug the travel industry. I won't even stop talking about kayak. I will wear a kayak if I need to, even though it's not about boats. We're not about boats. Just want to be clear on that.
Unless you want to put the kayak logo on the side of a kayak, so then you can kayak while you kayak.
I think that might be a little too much. I think that would break some sort of kayak rules.
Yeah, we banished the whole boat thing a while ago.
You can tell that's a sensitive issue over there for all the kayak employees.
Actually, I'll be following this for another 3 minutes or so here, so sit back and enjoy, folks. Actually, if you want to take a screenshot of that QR code there on the top of the my Kaiser Rennsport car there, does it actually link to the webpage right now?
It does, yep, it does work. So if you could get a screenshot of it here, or if you can get a picture of it in the while we're racing in sim, it does work.
I wonder if they'd be able to do it from a screenshot from the video here. That'd be pretty phenomenal. I'm not sure that the fidelity. I don't know how those things work. It's all like magic.
I don't think it takes much.
Magic.
Brian putting a lot of pressure on McLean right now. Also, I'm noticing that technically we don't really know who's driving that car because there's no names on it right now. There should be a very fancy Canadian flag and the abbreviation CAR on the side and on the front.
Which would be there if Dan followed the instructions in his email. I know nothing about computers, I was able to figure it out. Yeah, I know. He's doing the high-level technical stuff, and a computer dumbass like me was like, oh, I unzip it into this folder? Alright. Sweet, that worked. Good. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because it didn't work right away. I had to do a few different things to make sure I had it in that folder, and it was, for some reason, even that's... just happy I'm talking in the computer right now.
Yes, iRacing still has a couple little bugs that they probably could still work out with their paint system.
Oh, and by the way, guys, my video has been uploaded right now, so those of you, if you want to take a look at that. Oh, hey, look, something's happening.
Kerry gonna get a cut back? No, couldn't quite get it. He did put some pressure there. Going to the outside as they entered the bus stop, but couldn't quite get the power down, I think. Let's see, McLean being a little bit defensive there, going into the source. Oh, Kerry's going to come through! Closes the door so McLean can't get the undercut, but he's going to be close as they make their way through the source. Kerry needs to get a great run going through the source so he gets the all the top speed he can going down the Kimmel Straight.
Boy, beasted that one.
Different lines there. You can see the different line, the way that each driver takes different lines to get their speed. And let's see what the gap is as they come down. Kerry's gonna, doesn't look like he's gonna need to be too defensive, I don't think. No, he's not. As they get into the braking zone now, as they hit the start of the curbing there on the outside, that is when they start braking, and Kerry takes the position away. That is very well done.
Just so you know, I think because I did something on my own computer here, I think I'm out of sync with the rest of the guys by like 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah, you are. I've kind of noticed that a couple times as we've had guys spin.
So if I'm a little slow to the trigger here, I apologize, but I had tried to. I have double screens here, so I think when I switched it over to the other screen, the video kind of hesitated and paused. If I could refresh that somehow, whatever. Just
so it's
deal
your
with
fault.
Oh no, it's totally my fault. I was able to. I'll find any number of ways to screw stuff up like that. As long as I don't spill some delicious Muskoka cream ale on the keyboard, it should be fine. You know, Muskoka cream ale is probably so awesome that even if I spit it on the keyboard, it'd probably fix my computer.
It would make it much better. It would make it much better. You'd have the equivalent of it. Well, actually, you do have an i7 in your computer, don't you? So never mind.
Yeah, it'd be a delicious beverage as well as technical support in a can.
It would turn whatever graphics card you have in there now into a NVIDIA Titan. How about that?
Sure, sounds good to me.
And I know for sure that you have no idea what that is, but that's okay. All the tech guys out there know what that is. It is awesome.
I assume if you say it's awesome. I've got a pretty decent video card in there, but Titan sounds way cooler than what I got. It's like an ATI 7800 or something like that. That doesn't sound cool. ATI 7800. Would you rather have that or a Titan? By the way, Ryan Huff made a sweet pass on John Kelly there, just for those of you following or actually watching this. Because we've clearly given up.
Well, we've got 45 minutes left in the race. I think we've done a pretty good job so far of sort of sticking to the racing that's happening. Jump on board with Colin McLean, trying to chase down Brian Kerry once again. Well, he's not really trying to chase him down. I guess he's still right in front, but Kerry doing his best to open up a bit of a gap between himself and McLean. And Giralty almost 5 seconds in front of Kerry at the moment. Of course, we'll have to see how pit stops play out, because if you remember correctly, he pitted early. Ooh, Colin taking a lot of curbing and then some there going through Speaker's Corner. Lose some time to Kerry there. But if you remember correctly, Giralty pitted earlier, so he's have to pit earlier again for his final stop. Last time it worked out for him, he got out in front and stayed in front of Kerry and McLean, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Ooh, Daniel Buck, late braking there, going into the bus stop right on John Kuzlin's tail. And they're coming up on the Biebermobile. And Todd Garber fans, there you go. There he is. Well, subconscious. Not subconscious. Maybe I'm... Wow, Brian has lost his ability to speak English properly. I'll come back to that thought later whenever it reappears there. Dale Buck with a Rubik's Cube on the front of his car. I think we've noticed that before, but I'm just noticing it again now. He's rather smart with that. So I think Daniel Buck from is he near Sao Paulo, Brazil? You know what? I'm going to get Daniel Buck's actual, because he's going to be down there for a few minutes, see if I can find his bio. Okay, so random interesting fact. Yep, he is a Rubik's Cube person.
That was close. Sorry.
He can do an AVG 5 in 30 seconds, an AVG 12 in 32 seconds, and his best solve in 23 seconds on a 3x3. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds pretty awesome.
I believe that's just the size of the cube. So a 3x3 would be a 3x3 cube? 3 square by 3 square.
Standard, right?
No. I think, what is standard? 5x5?
Oh.
No, maybe 4x4. I'm not sure, but it's 3x3 is a little bit smaller. I know that for sure.
Pretty much just anything. Anyways, he was born in Sao Paulo, resides in Barreiro. Wow. It's a suburb of Sao Paulo. He lives in a suburb of Sao Paulo. That's all I really know. But yeah, he's new to iRacing. He was here last season, but it's his first full season, I believe, here, and is a good addition to the very enthusiastic driver there. Had to rein in some of his aggressiveness from last season. Unfortunate incident in Road America at the end of last season from a Starlight incident, but overall a good driver here, and actually exactly what, as far as enthusiasm for the series, what we like to see from our newcomers there.
So technically he is the one to blame for that awful I don't even want to call it a broadcast. That awful video from Road America. Yes,
that's squarely at Dan's feet there. Okay, he prefers to be called Danny, not Buck Futter, as the driver up ahead there, Lance Snyder likes to call him on her thing there. But yeah, we'll call him Danny. Call our colleague here Q, because it sounds cool. One of my buddies from college, we called him Q Ball, but that was just because he showed up to Frosh Week with a shaved head, even though he doesn't have a shaved head typically, but that name kind of stuck. There's Anthony Muse in the background, somehow driving off the track on a straightaway, which, not ideal.
Was I? I do not remember doing that.
You're probably falling asleep at the time, so... Which seems kind of weird, because you're running in second place right now, and in a pretty solid position there. So, you'd think your concentration would be high, but really, that's how good things are going for Anthony this race. He's just kind of doing it like one eye on the road, one hand on the wheel. Probably talking to his fan club there on the internet.
Oh, if only. And now if Brian would send me some of his cream ale, I could have been having one hand on that while I had one hand on the wheel.
You know, you're only a 3-hour drive from Port Huron, taken into Sarnia at the border there, where you can get all the cream ale you want. Well, as much as the store has, anyway.
Oh, and Joe Jr. going to take a opportunistic move on the inside of Lance Snyder. So they head down towards Blanchimont, but no, couldn't quite get it done.
Lance is just going to drive away right now, so we'll see if he stays close enough to get to the... Oh, there's Muniz going by. They're Anthony's lapping. Not mapping them, because that doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about, Brian? That's crazy. Anyways, Anthony's lapping them, so that's why he's able to go through there. So Joe's going to have to try to find another way past. And you can see the lights on the side of his car showing 3. That just means he's a third-place Corvette, the way Corvette Ford GT. Brian, you're drunk, except I'm not at all. But Anyways, I'm going to hand it off to you guys to talk for a little bit while I go reset my brain.
Oh, but Joe Jr. gets a nice run coming off of La Source. Wasn't able to quite make it happen, but he did take advantage of Lance Snyder running wide through that corner, and he did close the gap back up. So
Gralty's in the pits in the McLarens.
With 38 minutes left in the race, so this will be interesting. We'll have to keep an eye and see where they come back out. He will be taking a little bit more fuel than the McLarens behind him. So that, I don't know if he's going to take 5 seconds worth. We'll have to see how that works out. Ooh, and you can see Joe Jr. That's a pretty good example there of how the Ford GT is a little bit better through the corners than the McLaren. And his Ford GT just looks a little bit more planted, and he was able to get that run on, pulled right on the back of Snyder, but not really any room there for him to go by.
For some reason, I have an incredible urge to refer to Lance as Lance Bass, but that doesn't... somehow I think those guys are a little different.
Collins put you into the boy band mood.
Yeah, well, I just figure Lance likes that type of thing.
Oh,
I can't remember what...
looked like he was steering a little bit too much for that corner.
Yes. I don't remember what, Lance from last year's car there, but I just assume he likes that kind of music based on, Lance Bass was an Iron Maiden, right? Am I getting that right? Who is he? Where is he from? Pretty sure it was Iron Maiden.
Don't worry, I'm sure Lance will tell us.
I am sure he's raging at me right now.
No, I'm laughing at Brian Carey here. So Lance Bass was in NSYNC.
I know where Lance Bass is from.
Okay.
That's why Lance Snyder was probably on a plane from Georgia, where he is right now, to come to murder me.
Oh, and McLaren trying to take as much speed as he could through the corner, although he had to stay off the throttle a little bit. Oh, and then he's late on the braking, trying to pull up as close as he can to Carey as they head through the final chicane there. Doesn't look like it. Well, he didn't run into the back of him, so I guess, yeah.
That's what I mean. Man, he made a turn.
All I have to say here is thank you, director, because earlier in the race when I was following Colin there into La Source, there's two incidents where basically I came flying up the inside of Colin at like 1,000 miles an hour. The first one I think was not nearly as dangerous, but still an ill-advised pass attempt. I was able to hold the apex on that one, and Colin just drove back around the outside, no problem. But the other one, I don't know what happened, but I came in there super late in the brakes, and in an effort to avoid Colin, basically just had to mash the gas, run wide, and try again. So I got to the middle before he did. Oh, look at this.
Is he alongside? He's almost alongside there. Took some of the grass to try and keep his momentum as the Corvette came through. He's going to try and brake later than Carey. Let's see if he can keep it on the inside or the outside. Carey manages to stay alongside, so that will give him the inside and thus the advantage. Let's see if McLaren can throw it down on the inside, going into what is this?
No.
Brussels. No. Well, actually, no. You say that we missed it, but that's how I passed McLaren for second spot in going into that corner.
That gave me iRacing happiness. That was a lot of fun. Because when Colin went on the grass there, I didn't even realize because I was focusing so much on the Corvette, and then you can kind of hear the rumble of a car in the grass. I'm like, what the? Oh my god, that's Colin. So kind of quickly pulled over to the right, but not too much to give him a little bit of room there. But that was pretty manic for a few corners there. There's Corey Davis in the other Kaiser Rennsport car, just lapping around these guys. He's got the red accents in the car, where I believe Anthony's... What's your accent on that car?
Well, actually, his...
Oh, you have a totally different one, don't you?
Yeah, his teammate should be Andy, but I'm not sure what Andy's doing this season. So.
Andy, I think he's back now. For this race, he was in Vegas.
Oh.
He's from there originally, so he's there visiting family. He lives in Washington, so...
Okay, well, look for Andy in that same car, but blue, with I forget what sponsors I put on there. I think GoPro, because it looked good. But yeah, that's basically the same car that we ran last season, with some updates to match the sponsorships and all of that. I have the Team Wolf livery as it is different. Oh, well, you can't see it on there. Brian, we've got three teams this season because we have so many drivers.
Dan and I are Team Phoenix, right?
Yep. Although you can't. It's not. For some reason, it's not on your car there, but normally you should see it on the nose. Yep. So Brian is blue to go with his Libro, and Dan is red. It doesn't really go with kayak, but the Italian flag that's on his nameplate goes beautifully with the red on that car. So that looks great. And myself, Ryan, who's unfortunately taking an extended baby break, so he won't be running with us this season. But myself and Renee are running Team Wolf, which has an abstract livery this season, and then Corey and Andy are Team Atlantic, and they have kind of the modified carryover one from last season.
I also just realized that too, because Corey, I believe, lives in North Carolina now, which, yes, is on the Atlantic, whereas Andy from the Washington State area is on the Pacific, but you get the idea. And Dan and I, both on the eastern part of the continent, they're nowhere near Phoenix, nor are we flaming birds that rise from the ashes of the earth. So,
but it would be cool if you were.
Actually, I can't say that about Dan because I don't know for sure. Nor do you of me, so maybe that's just my secret identity. Oh, look at that, see that? That was a bit of a slide there. And then I held it like a boss.
We need to get, I'd like to, if only we could get, I don't think we can, but if only iRacing was a little bit more advanced so we could get what you guys' lap times are, because I'd like to see how consistently you guys are running relative to each other. Seems to be pretty close. I mean, the gap is only, what are we at, about 6 tenths of a second right now, so I know it kind of ebbs and flows, but
so how hard would that be to program in to have lap times come up every so often?
Actually, I've been wanting to do it. It's really not that hard. What I've been wanting to do is when we're on the TV shots to have, like, let's say we got 3 people, you know, the person in front, the next person, left to right. Mostly I just need to make the small font and print it on the screen. The information, as you can see, at least as we can see, on our race viewers that we're commentating with, is already there.
Yeah, the one thing that I think would be cool too is have like you know, for each, like, say 2 cars battling or whatever, and just have last 5 laps and or last 3 laps or whatever. I think F1 does like 3 laps or something like that, but kind of have like a table of their, you know, 3 or 4 laps just to see kind of what pace they're running and get an idea how the times ebbs and flows, and maybe pop up when someone sets a fast lap and that sort of thing. That's just, you know, again, I will suggest things that sound easy in my head, not knowing what Dan does, and that will be extremely hard, whereas things I think, oh my god, that's impossible. He's like, oh yeah, I could just pound that out in, like, you know, like 5 minutes of programming while I'm, you know, watching TV.
I mean, all that is actually pretty easy. The trickiest part, I think, is mostly the getting the UI right and not making a total mess of the place with numbers popping up everywhere.
That almost made sense to me, except not at all.
I mean, the other tricky part is, of course, in multi-class racing, it's always tough to tell why someone had a bad lap.
Yeah, but at least it'd be like a graphical representation of gaps and stuff like that as Chuck is into the pits.
And so is the Bieber.
Oh my god, it's like the grill is like right in his face.
It is. It's like where his teeth are.
It looks like he has a slight overbite though, so you might want to get that looked at. And by the way, just, I know I might have mentioned it before, but literally the Biebs is from a town about half an hour outside of the city I live in right now, so he is a Southern Ontario product as well, if we can call him that. Stratford, by the way, where he is from, is a famous theater town where they have very, you know, very popular actors that will do Shakespeare and other plays throughout the summer season, and we have tourists from all over the world around that will come to see that. And now the last few years, we get busloads of screaming teenage girls who want to see the little house that apparently he grew up in. So, whatever floats your boat, I guess, but... Which is why, since I moved back to London, I have only once been back to Stratford, and it was probably while that kid was still there. Just, doing whatever the hell he did.
I bet he was singing and dancing.
I was probably thinking along the lines of, sniffing airplane glue out of a plastic bag, but... Kids still do that, right? No? Don't know what I'm talking about? That's cool. I never did that. And Anthony and Dan have left the commentary booth in disgust.
I was just seeing how long you would go on for. Turns out quite a while.
When I say something dumb like that, I fear dead air, so it just keeps going.
Brian does spend an awful lot of time talking about his mind-altering experiences and materials he uses to produce them, doesn't he?
He does.
The irony is, they come from nothing. It's all natural, folks. And that's probably what the scariest part is.
Yeah, I actually blew my pit entrance here and got a 15-second hold there. Oh, look a stall. You held it together under braking, but just barely.
Also,
So Venom takes the corner.
Yeah. Just taking a look at timings right now. McLean pitted a lap or two earlier than the lead GT3 cars. And it looks like, from what I can tell, he is quite a bit behind Kerry at the moment. His split time is giving me some weird glitchy nonsense right now, but positioning wise it looks like he is behind Kerry, and Kerry is about 2 seconds back from Gralty. So that gap is actually closed up quite a bit.
10 seconds? Maybe that's a glitch though. It keeps going 9.99 to 10, so... And actually just looking at the timing and scoring up there, it looks like it's closer to 12 seconds, so... And ironically, Corey Davis' timing is doing exactly the same thing, but he's about, it says 7 seconds behind Anthony Muniz, who's about 15 seconds behind James Cullen, which, actually considering James Cullen is a beast machine in the McLaren, after having run this car, well, I guess Anthony ran it last year too, but that being said, James was pretty dominant speed-wise last year, and Anthony is holding right, 16 seconds sounds like a lot, but 2 hours here at Spa on a huge lap, that is pretty good.
Yeah, I improved vastly at this track from a season ago. Can't really tell you how, but I did.
Were you using my setup that I slaved long and hard at?
No, I wasn't actually. I was using... Who was I? Was it? I don't know, somebody's. I think it was,
Was it James's?
No, it wasn't. It was, Renee's, actually. Yep.
Yes. Renee, who unfortunately hasn't been able to make the first couple of races here. He's just kind of one of the pitfalls of sim racing sometimes is, due to various other reasons, but sometimes it's very disorientating for certain circumstances, so sadly it wasn't, Renee wasn't able to make this race here, but hopefully he'll be back for most of the season. He gets that under control. Todd Carver on TV. And you can see Colin McLean behind him.
Oh yeah, so that is the gap. So yeah, it is a good 10 seconds or so, because we're looking at Brian Carey right now, who is just making his way through Malmedy, and that means McLean is still working his way down the Kimmel Straight. So not really sure how that worked out. I don't know, must have made a mistake or something, but there's the gap between Carey and Daniel Gralty, which is basically nothing now. It's just over 1 second. So that looks like the gap between, or the later pit stop worked out in Kerry's favor. He gained about 4 seconds, pitting a little bit later there than Gralty.
And Dan Marrera just getting past Daniel Buck. So Dan just goes by Dan. Then we got Daniel Buck who will go by Danny. Man, those cars sound awesome. Actually, I think in real life, my favorite car that I ever heard live was it was back in 1998. The old Pano's Le Mans car looked like the Batmobile, and I don't know. I think it had just like a big block something or other in there. I think it was the Ford, but it was just. I remember standing on the tire bridge there at Laguna Seca, having that thing come underneath, and the whole bridge would just absolutely shake. It was fantastic. I was 19 when I was doing that. No longer 19.
Was that their prototype car, or was that their... Was it? Okay.
Well, what I guess would be like LMP1, LMP2, or whatever it is. Because like around back then, that's when they had... I think it was the Mercedes CLK was the... like the top Le Mans car. I'm not sure what the regulations were there, but it more closely resembled what a GT1 car is now.
Okay.
As opposed to like the full-on prototypes that you see today, which is actually in a couple weekends from now, the Le Mans 24 hours.
No, it's this weekend actually.
Was this?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 20-something.
No, it's this weekend, because if they went next week, it would be... oh, no, actually...
Wait, I thought it was next weekend, too.
I will double check, because I thought it was this weekend.
Okay, if Anthony got Le Mans wrong and we got it right, then something is wrong with this world.
Nope, you are right. 22nd, 23rd. Qualifying something is this weekend.
It must be the qualifying.
Yeah.
Because they had open practice this past weekend. I got to see it. It was raining, and it's good to see some of the new cars out there. Honestly, that's one of the reasons I love Le Mans is you have Formula One. The technology in Formula One is top of the line, but the regulations are pretty... They kind of hamper what you can see and what actually happens there. Whereas Le Mans, I mean, they'll make changes from year to year, and I mean, just some of the things that guys come up with in the style of cars, and like even like you have like the Peugeots and the Audis and some of the other manufactured Toyotas coming there, and you know, totally different car designs, totally different regulations, and come in there with pretty much similar speed of cars is really phenomenal. You know, over 24 hours, obviously one will be better than the other, but just awesome to watch. And woo, this is a battle for the lead here. I don't think John Kuzlin's made his pit stop yet, because John Kuzlin can do an entire race on basically a thimble of gas, but he will pit eventually, and Mike Kelly will resume the lead. But John Kuzlin, Jesus, Mike's, Kelly's, the whole bit, very confusing, but John Kuzlin will enjoy his short time in the lead here. As Mike Kelly got a good run out of La Source, will John Kuzlin get to the line in first place? And no, maybe, I don't know. He didn't get after the line in first place as Mike Kelly takes the lead.
And now back with Brian Carey, as he has maintained the gap. No, he's closed the gap a little bit. Closed up a couple more car lengths, and he is, what is the gap? 0.6 of a second or so between himself and Daniel Gralty.
As Murray Walker would say, you don't need me to tell you the gap, you can see it right with your eyes. Well, he'd say it better than that. Or worse, depends on how you look at it. Murray Walker's a bit of a unique commentary style. One of my idols as far as commentary goes.
Yeah, I would say probably better. No offense to you, but I like him.
He only commentated on Formula One for like literally 50 years, whereas I talk about sim racing for a couple hours a week. Roughly
and half the time it's random memories that you have. Oh, and that is someone taking to an improvised escape road. That's the exit. Is that who that was? Okay. Wow. That was a very close call there as some Corvettes forced their way by going into a Rouge. Hopefully he managed to keep it out of the wall there, but he was looked like he was a little bit sideways. Speaking of sideways,
Oh, I remember that now. And Marty Jeffries scared the bejesus out of me because he went off the track and I thought he was going to T-bone the hell out of me right there. And if I had gone an hour and 40 minutes into a race and got crashed, I would have been very, very sad. Luckily, Marty was able to hold it. A bit of it off there and poo on.
Looking at Stahl, currently running in 6th. Looking to unseat Warren Bateman, yes, Warren Bateman, I was right. In the 5th spot up ahead, but he's got some work to do to catch up.
That is a competitive Corvette class, I must say. Competitive McLaren class, for that matter, too, but very, very solid from top to bottom.
Hey, Kuslin in the pits from 2nd, so that's going to drop him back. Looks like Carver's got 5 seconds, 3, 1, and Todd Carver is passed into 2nd.
Gotta make sure I really don't screw up my video anymore next time I do this commentary here, because I am way out of sync at this point. I mean, it's only about probably 2 or 3 seconds, but...
And at this point, McLean has dropped almost 13 seconds back from Kerry, so unless there is a very big mistake from Kerry or Gralty, since they are about 3 car lengths apart, he is out of that fight, and he's pretty safe from Jeremy Burris, who is running P7 just behind, so unfortunate to see that go down to just a 2-car fight, but Kerry's doing a good job sticking with Gralty. Oh, and as Joe Jr. spins it through the bus stop, and a couple other GT cars, Qualroni or Q, coming through, along with, I believe that was John Kelly in the Corvette.
There's Dan Moreira in a car that just never wants to get clean. And Lance Snyder up ahead with an extremely shiny car. Alright, well, we're gone through an hour and 45 minutes nearly. Just a minute and 40 away from that, but looks like Mike Kelly's got a pretty sizable lead there in the Corvettes, having made his pit stop over Todd Carver. John Rossetto, I don't know if he's made a pit stop yet or not, but regardless, 3rd position, very solid for him. Lauren Bateman, Timothy Stahl, top 5 there. And James Cullen ahead of Anthony Muniz, Corey Davis, Dan Gralty, and Brian Carey for the McLaren Ford GT combo there, with looks like Jeremy Burris is the highest running Ford GT, currently in 7th, ahead of teammate Daniel Verness in 8th. And that car. Seriously, where did he come up with that? Like, that's just a huge collage of just terrible.
We'll go back away from that to David Scott. And where is he running?
15th.
15th. Thank you, Dan. So he's out of our top 12 that we see live splits for. He's just behind Marty Jeffries. You can see that's Gralty, actually, I believe, just in front of him as well. So it looks like Brian Carey has dropped a bit to Gralty. Yeah, he's fallen close to 3 seconds back. So hopefully he can catch that gap back up. But 15 minutes left, not too much time. So hopefully we'll see that gap come down.
All right, well, so Kuslin out of the pits from 2nd to 9th. And now the big question is, are any other Corvettes going to have to make pit stops in the next 15 minutes? Kuslin, notoriously good on gas, so was that his first pit stop? That's impossible. So that must have been the 2nd pit stop. What's going to happen with them? Well, I mean, we got to, rule out the impossible, and we are left with the truth, however improbable
wasn't
it may
abducted by
be.
aliens, nor he somehow developed some sort of time-space device, much like a contemporary time machine, so...
He's not driving a DeLorean.
I swear to God, there's a DeLorean in my neighborhood, and it's awesome every time I see it.
See, the DeLorean, man, The problem is it's such a crap car.
Oh, it's a terrible car. It's a god-awful car, but dude, Marty McFly, 88 miles an hour.
I want one, but I don't know what I'd do with it because it's such a crappy car.
Isn't it just like a Lotus chassis with the funny doors on it, and it's like all kind of silver and a lot of like cocaine under the hood?
Well, it's all stainless steel panels. I know that it's a terribly weak engine. I don't remember what the chassis was.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a Lotus engine.
That's why it was 88 miles an hour that was the maximum speed, or the speed they had to get to, because that was as fast as the engine could go.
I'd question whether it could even go that fast. But that's the thing, though. When I first saw it driving down my street, I'm not sure what I did. I may have screamed like a little girl. I may have cried. All figuratively, of course. This is just a metaphor describing my behavior. But no, there were tears. And it was like the first time I saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. But, like, way cooler.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, it's largely based on the Lotus Esprit.
Okay, that's what I figured. I remember seeing there's a huge documentary about, oh, look at this battle.
Wow, yeah, Brian Carey managed to catch up over 2 seconds very quickly. Had a great run coming down the Kimmel Straight. He's going to look on the outside to get past Gralty. Not going to have it here to fall back in line. Ooh, there's some tire smoke, so someone's getting a little out of shape there going through the comb. I think that was when that massive train of Corvettes was making their way through. It must have just slowed everybody up. Looks like also there was a back marker McLaren. I didn't catch who it was, but that could have played a factor into the gap closing up. But this is great to see the battle for fourth position come back to a very small gap with just about 12 minutes left in the race. And Lauren Bateman, meanwhile, is trying his best to catch back up to Timothy Stoll. Ooh, that's who's that? John Kelly getting out of the way there for these two guys so they can continue their race.
Actually, one thing I was thinking about it in my head right now, we've run in a few series here where I've been in the same class as Dan Gralty, the LMP, the Daytona Prototype, the McLaren now, and when we ran the Formula One series when Dan was in it for that first season there. And we're always within, like, in a race, over the course of a race, like, it seems like maybe 5 or 10 seconds either way, like one of us faster, and a lot of the times very similar speed. So, and it's always around that. Like, no one ever has, like, too much. I mean, you know, one might qualify better or whatever, but once it comes down to the race, it's always really close.
There we go, back to the battle there for fourth position. Gralty's still holding on to that, but like Brian said, these guys are very close in pace, and now that no more pit stops are going to be playing out, it's down to whoever has the faster pace, or whoever can not make a mistake, maybe. We'll have to see how that plays out. Oh, I saw McLean. He was closer than he was, but he was just coming out of the bus stop there as they were making their way through the source, so I doubt he'll catch them, but you never know, I guess.
0 to 16, 10.5 seconds, guys.
DeLorean?
Yeah.
How long does it take to get to 88? Like, how much road do you need?
I didn't look at that quarter mile, what it could do.
That's an important calculation you need to have, because you never know when you'll have to hit, like, the lightning strike at just the exact right moment.
And Carey back on track. Carey all over the back of Gralty. He was trying to take a look up on the inside. Didn't quite have the room towards the outside. See if he couldn't get the better undercut. Gralty running a little bit wide there through Malmedy. I think he is far enough ahead to not be challenged there. But, oh, I think I hear an engine. He's running very wide going there through Bruxelles. I think that's Brian Carey there on the inside as they head down towards Speaker Corner. Wasn't able to get it quite done. Gralty's still going to hold on to that fourth place position. But Carey putting a lot of pressure on him now with just 10 minutes left to go in the race.
It might have been a good time for an external camera there, director, instead of just the nose where you couldn't see anything. But, I mean, that's just me, a human. So, who am I to question?
I guess when the distance is too close, sometimes it's not worth going on board like that.
So, yeah.
90 miles an hour takes 18.8 seconds and takes 495.7 meters.
Okay. So, like, and also you need the 1.21 gigawatt power, so Gotta make sure everything's all lined up and ready to go there.
And Lauren Bateman has really closed the gap between himself and Stoll here in the final 9 minutes of the race. These guys fighting for the last of the podium spots in GT1. And looks like Bateman has some pretty good pace right now. He's putting a lot of pressure on Stoll.
Tim Stoll's had a pretty quiet race. I mean, we've seen him a few times there, but it didn't seem like he was factoring up towards the front. But sure enough, coming down to the end of the race, there he is in a podium position. So, very good, well-managed race for Tim Stoll there.
Ah, Walt Disney World, that's what's on the car. Only took almost 2 hours to find that out.
Hey, it's a coast-to-coast racing car, too, so that's a Kurt is on the same team as John Kuzla and David Scott and Lauren Bateman. So we got coast-to-coast racing, we've got Turn 1 Heroes, and then our very own Kaiser Rennsport. Very well-represented teams here. Also some racing nation as well.
Yep, I was just about to point that out.
Camera cut just there made me dizzy.
Oh, and we didn't see it, unfortunately, but Brian Carey up into 4th position. Where did that pass happen, Brian?
Oh, we missed that? Come on.
Yep.
Oh, no, that was basically going into the bus stop there. I had a run going, showed my nose to the inside. Distracted Dan momentarily, I assume. He outbraked himself a little bit into the bus stop, which was just enough to let me get by.
Well, don't worry. We hardly saw any of my battle with Colin anyways, or either, so we both missed our shining moments here in this race.
You know, doing the commentary, I think I'd have more control over that, but really, should be nicer to the sideboard director.
We should.
At least we got to see me passing Colin, even though I think my passing Dan was cooler. Honestly, when I was racing down there, as I could see the time ticking away there, knowing I could possibly take the spot there, that my heart, just sitting in the basement, you know, racing, like I mentioned before, my heart rate was just absolutely going. Speaking of absolutely going, look at Lauren Bateman and Tim Stoll here.
He had a great run coming out of the final chicane. Let's see if he can get the undercut here as they make their way through Los Oros. It looks like he's going to try, but I don't think he could get the power down. No. Stoll was a little bit earlier on the power, but Lauren Bateman putting in so much pressure on Stoll here. Only 6 minutes left, so that's going to equal out to be about 3 more laps or so, depending on when Mike Kelly, the overall race leader, crosses the line. Also see just in the distance. Oh no, that's not. Never mind. That was that must have been David Scott there in the distance behind these two guys, not Daniel Buck.
I've got a very random fact that Lauren was happy enough to post in the forum there.
No!
Oh, is he going to make it?
No.
So you can't see it. Oh no, he's going to die. Okay, no, I'm seeing this like about 3 seconds behind Anthony. So, but anyways, he arrested Leon Spinks. So I'm not sure what for, but I'm sure it was a good reason. I'd be scared to do that. I don't know how big Lauren is, but Leon Spinks, I believe, is a pretty big dude. If he is who I think he is. Yeah, okay, boxer. Okay, that's what I thought.
And what state police is he representing on his car? Missouri. Okay, so I'm assuming that that he was once a Missouri state trooper then.
I would assume so. Yeah, no, when I was making for the Erica Star there, I'm just looking at his picture right now. It seems like he has relatively little hair. It appears a mustache and is, well, pretty much think of what the opposite of Eric Estrada is as far as highway patrolmen go. And that's pretty much what Lauren looks like. So, except I'm pretty sure Lauren has a magical smile as well. So.
Under 5 minutes remaining now.
Oh, and you can tell Bateman is just so much better going through that chicane than Stoll because he pulls right up onto the back of him. They were basically millimeters apart there. Oh, and here's John Kelly desperately trying to hold on to what position is that? I can't see it on the screen.
So that's how competitive it is. You got John Kelly and Marty Jeffries are at 14th.
Good catch.
Or is it 13th? I think John might be in 13th. Yeah, so the battle for 13th here. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they're very, very quick pedalers here, and they're battling down. And not slowly either for... I mean, these are still points-paying positions here, so...
We'll jump back to Brian Carey and Daniel Gralty, but their positions are reversed since the last time we saw them. Ooh, and Gralty getting on the brakes there, going through a Rouge. Not sure if... usually you don't want to do that because that can really upset the car sometimes if you're not careful, but it looks like he got a pretty good run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got a really great run going through the corner, and he's going to be challenging Brian Carey on the outside, trying to see if he can't use the Corvette to his advantage whatsoever, get the draft off, but Brian Carey still had the inside, was later on the brakes, and holds on to that 4th place position.
In all honesty, like from the green flag for me here, I was right behind... What happened?
That was so close. Hold on. Great save there, John. That was pretty incredible.
It's funny because on my screen right now, all I can see is I'm just kind of driving around straight, so I know something is about to explode apparently. But that was
that was a beautiful save. Good job, John.
But yeah, I was saying I was right behind Anthony at the beginning there. Then him battling Colin, then Corey was able to get by me, and then I was right behind them. Then I basically followed Colin the entire first stint, most of the second stint, and then the entire third stint I was behind Dan until this year, and now he's all over me. So 2 straight hours of just iRacing awesomeness. And that's why you want to visit ISRAleague.com, because you too can do this. And also prevent forest fires.
And there is still quite the forest here around Spa, so definitely want to prevent those.
Yes.
But I'm really looking forward to when we have better endurance racing support so we can do a longer race around Spa.
Driver
be a lot
swaps
of fun.
A whole bit.
Yep. A couple drivers per car, and that should be a lot of fun. And I think because we can see how competitive here, this is, I think, probably one of the most competitive races we've had at Spa that I can remember. I mean, we have multiple battles here coming down to the end of the 2 hours, and that's great.
Yeah, it's a big track.
Great racing.
It's spread out and a long race, so I mean, in the past, like Anthony says, sometimes it gets a little boring. This is not one of those times.
Yeah, this has been good action the entire 2 hours. I know, thinking back a couple seasons, I know it got kind of, once we got past an hour, so a little bit past our usual racing time, things were pretty much settled, but here we've got a lot of positions coming down to the end.
You guys remember Road America last year? Or last season?
I try my best to wipe that from my memory. No. I remember that is Daniel Buck's fault. Oh, as Verness spins there. So all you people that were trying their best to sit through that. Oh, it is. Yeah, look at that. Quaroni gets past, moves him up into 7th position. There's that great-looking red, black, and white car.
Kayak.com, proud sponsor of our 2014 trip to the Spa 24-hour endurance race. Thank you, Kayak.
So you'd have Spa over Le Mans, huh?
Oh. Can we do both? Because they're pretty similar times, right?
Well, you'd have to fly back and forth. I mean, they are still a couple weeks apart.
I'm sure we could find a place to hang out.
We could, you know what? We could stop at Renee's house, and we'll stay there for a couple weeks. Because he's over there. We'll have a Kaiser Rennsport team party at his house until Le Mans, actually it would be starting with Le Mans and then going to the Spa 24, and it sounds good. That sounds good to me.
I just didn't realize you guys got a month off.
That's what bad. I work for the. Well, I'm not gonna say where I work, but I got time.
And I'm a student, so I still have a little bit of that student freedom. So.
And Dan works for kayak.com. We will be working for kayak.com while we're out there. So really, no one's taking any time off. We will be on the clock. It'll be all business.
We will be hard at work
business.
Advertising and trying our best to set up European deals to expand the kayak market.
And by working, having boat races at various Belgian pubs. Again, not kayak, no boats, except for boat races, which actually have nothing to do with boats. You guys know what that is.
Nope, but I'll have to find out after this battle's over on the last lap here at the 2-hour Enduro at Spa for the GTC's 11th season opener. Looks like...
John Kelly doing another launch off the exit of
He is pushing that Corvette as hard as he possibly can. And this Corvette, I mean, I did some laps in practice with John, actually, when they were getting some footage or screenshot time for their new liveries. And it's fun to drive, but you have to be very careful as Mike Kelly crosses the line to take the win in GT1 here at the opening race for GTC Season 11.
Good job, Mike. That's remember him winning the championship back at the Daytona Prototypes there, so good start for him for this Corvette season.
Todd Carver picking up the second spot on the podium for GT1.
James Cullen taking the win for the GT3 class there. There's Daniel Verness. Okay, it's happening too fast. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, so you guys go ahead.
Well, we're looking at Burris and someone in a Corvette. Bunch of people crossing the line now. Tim Stahl.
Glad you added specifics there. That was good.
Well, it was 3 cars at once. Corey Davis. Okay, and so we have a win for James Cullen. No big surprise. Anthony Muniz coming in second for the Mclarens, or the GT3 class. Corey Davis third. So guys are in Sport 2-3 and a Bieber 1.
Can I make it 4? Can I make it 4?
So we're looking at Grauty right now. Brian Carey is just in front, I think. Where is he? I hear his car. I don't know where he is. Where are you, Brian? So he must be finished. There he is. There's his car.
And there's the finish. And Daniel Buck in 5th for GT1, and John Kuzl in 6th. Ryan Huff 7th. And 8th is Chuck Chambliss.
Yep. Yeah, so I've won 4 or 5 of these things before, but I think I was most the happiest I did been at the end of a race, just because of what it took to get there. And there's Colin. Dropped back, unfortunately, but good race for him. Oh, Bieber's doing some off-road. That front grill, I can't wait for that to end. Still better than that checkered car. That checkered car was terrible.
Well, yeah, because that had hidden symbols in it.
And speaking of hidden symbols, here we've got the point standings. Mike Kelly taking the win with 25 points. Todd Carver looks like and there goes the Beeb. Went flying. Todd Carver looks like he did not lead a lap. Tim Stahl did, however. He also didn't. And over in GT3, James Cullen, 23 points. Anthony Muniz looks like he also didn't lead a lap. Corey Davis, 2 points down. So no big surprises there. It's just a 2-point drop each. A beautiful stop there with Mike Kelly. Excellently done. And Verness sends the lead flying.
That's what should happen. Look at that. That is how it's done, boys. Good send-off for the old whatever the hell you call them.
And I think that's all we've got for this race. Thank you guys to Brian Carey, Anthony Muniz for their outstanding commentary through this really quite nicely paced and action-filled race. To the admins and drivers here. Let's talk about the schedule. Next is Okayama on the 10th. We ran that last night. Road Atlanta, then Infineon, Road America, then the Twin Ring Motegi at night. Barber, then Mosport, then Mid Ohio. Now the trick here is we only have 9 races on the season.
We've got 2 hours at Interlagos as well. That's not on there.
Now, I looked at the season schedule and I counted
Yeah.
9, but
No.
what's up with that?
It didn't make it into the I League race or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So
It's
I didn't
missing.
screw up. Good. All right. Well, so at some point we'll be doing 2 hours at Interlagos. So stay tuned for that as well.
There's tons of details, man. Pretty car.
That's pretty excellent. Okay. Well, anyway. So thank you again to everyone for watching, and see you next time in Japan. Have a good night.